Hey, what it do, what it do, what it do. Welcome to the Content Creators Corner, aka C Cubed. I am your boy Q, and look, since we're a couple of weeks into January here, the one thing I wanted to ask first was, how's your New Year's resolution coming? Nah, I'm just playing, man. I shouldn't keep that. We are going to keep that, though, because that's just what I do. So I am going to make this as quick and as pain-free as possible. I don't want to make this a really long video. And it is going to be pain-free unless you haven't really been fair and honest with yourself about this journey that you're on. Because at the risk of sounding too cliche, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Right? Good God, that just already sounds bad. I do promise you, the number one most important thing that you need to hear, whether it be about growing your brand as a content creator, a streamer, an influencer, really whatever it is that you want to do, and have a purpose in life, don't worry about looking how to control all the other variables around your life. The number one thing you have to control is you, which is kind of funny when you think about it, because us as humans, right, we're constantly growing and adapting to the environment around us. So it really only makes sense that the number one lesson we can learn is from Mother Nature itself. More particularly, the Chinese bamboo tree. Now, before we get started, go ahead, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn those notifications on, and let's crush some goals in 2020. Let's stay locked in, grinding, and focus on our minds, man. All right? Now, look, there's this really big misconception when it comes to the Chinese bamboo tree, because really it's known for how fast it grows, being able to grow upwards of 50, 60, sometimes even 80 feet tall in as little as 5 to 6 weeks. But here's the thing. If I were to give you a seed to a Chinese bamboo tree and you were to take it home and plant it in your soil, you wouldn't be able to see the fruits of your labor for 5 years. The Chinese bamboo tree, it's really like any other plant, really. All it needs is water, soil, and sunlight. That's it. But you're going to need to come out here to this plot of soil that you planted the seed, and you're going to need to continue to water it day after day after day. After 1 year of seeing no growth, 2 years of seeing no growth, 3 years of seeing no growth. And you have to stay persistent and keep watering that plant. And the reason being is because at some point during the 5th year, guess what's going to happen? You're going to come out here to water that little barren piece of soil that you've gotten so accustomed to seeing over 5 years, and you're going to see a little bit of that bamboo tree sticking out. So, of course, at that point, it's going to be so easy to continue what you're doing, right? Continue to water that bamboo tree. I mean, hell, you've done it for 5 years and haven't seen anything. So now that you've seen some growth, it's going to be easy to continue to do it, right? So over the course of the next 5 to 6 weeks, you're going to see that bamboo tree go from inches above the soil to sprouting 50 to 80 feet tall. So I guess here's the real question that we will get the answer for the lesson in itself, which is, did that bamboo tree grow 50 to 80 feet tall in 5 or 6 weeks? Or did it grow over 5 years? Because first and foremost, let's set one thing straight when it comes to us as streamers or content creators or however you want to classify yourself. We've got to stop treating this thing like a hobby and start treating it like a business, which, look, I get it. I know it's hard because you've probably been playing video games or, recording or making whatever content it is for so long as a hobby. But what's the end all be all goal? The goal is for that to be your full-time job, right? You want that to be your business. You want that to be your career. And the reason I brought that up, more so I could ask this question. Do you know how long it takes for a new starting business to become profitable, on average? So for most businesses, it takes 2 to 3 years on average. And that's with obviously a whole bunch of other overhead, which you don't have as a streamer or a content creator, but you still have to invest that time, right? Think of all the big streamers and content creators that you know, right? The ones that are living the dream, making 6-7 figures that we can figure out, that we can at least assume, right? The Dr. Disrespects, the Ninjas, Shrouds, the Tims, PewDiePie, the list goes on, right? But they've been doing this for years. You have to develop your roots. And I can promise with almost 100% certainty that with the right mindset, the right work ethic and dedication, you will be able to find your spot in this ever-growing space of content creation or streaming or whatever it is that you do, really. You just have to continue to water the soil. And I'm talking water that thing daily, right? Even when you're out watering the lawn, watering that piece of soil in your front lawn there, and the neighbor comes across like, hey, Johnny, still trying to grow that bamboo, huh? Hey, Karen, this guy over here has been watering this soil for like 2 or 3 years, says he's going to grow some bamboo. I don't see any bamboo, do you? Because I promise you, it's going to happen. Whether it be like your friends who you used to hang out a lot more with, or maybe it be like your parents who like really do care and love you and like want to support you. They just don't really get what you're doing, right? Like it's going to happen. So I need you to do me a favor and continue to water that soil. Like, don't stop watering the soil for a month or two because you haven't seen the growth that you want, and expect that growth to continue, right? Like, think about this, that bamboo tree that grew over that 5 years, what do you think would have happened if we started digging at that 3-year mark to see if it started growing? We found the roots, so we put everything back together and kept watering. Do you think that probably would have stunted the growth of that tree? Oh yeah, for sure, right? And look, everyone's journey in this space is going to be different. There's no like given rule or set path that says you have to hit these mile markers by this time in order to make this a full-time career. People are going to grow at different paces. The most important thing is you continue to water the soil, right? Like, bruh, hard moment of truth. This ain't for everyone. This is going to take a strong-willed, strong-minded, and well-motivated individual to do this. You have to be addicted to the grind and the process just as much as you're addicted to the results. And that's why I can say with confidence and double down on what I said earlier, that with the right mindset, work ethic, and dedication, anyone can find themselves a spot in this space. I mean, just look at Twitch, Mixer, DLive. Is DLive even still? Anyways, but like, just look at like any place where there is a spot for content. Like just the streaming platforms. Like you can play video games at the highest level. You can be more of an entertainer when it comes to playing the video games. Maybe not be the best, but have a really good personality and entertain people while you're playing, right? I mean, there are people who host podcasts and just chatting sessions, people who play guitars for a couple hours a night, and even some guys who sit around and freestyle for a couple hours. Like, dude, one of the highest grossing YouTubers last year is a kid who one of his biggest like pieces of content is unboxing toys. And if you still think your niche is like unique enough that it isn't going to pop, I want you to think about this. About 20 years ago, 2 guys named Cliff and Craig decided to do this idea. They came up with this concept of taking like top radio songs and having kids make their own mix to it so it's like kid friendly and putting it on a CD. It sounds crazy, but 20 years later, they've like released 80 of those things. Keep watering the soil. Just don't do it blindly. And don't expect to just like show up and put in work and see results, right? Like you can't expect to create a Mixer account, get a streamer key, go live for 6 months, and all of a sudden ask yourself why you're not up to similar viewership with Ninja. Like it don't work like that, Chief. And even if like somehow miraculously you went from your current viewership, if you're a streamer anyways, and like we added 500, 1,000, 15, 2,000 active like viewers into your chat, do you really think that you can handle it? Like, I'm sure we've all seen those videos, or we've been in a bigger streamer's stream and we've seen them rate off to a really small streamer, and all that activity, they just can't keep up, right? You've got to grow your roots. You've got to keep on watering that soil. That way, once you do grow to be that big, you're able to support it. Does that make sense? And that's all I got as far as for today, folks. Do me a favor, leave a comment down below, hit that like button, subscribe for that weekly update and contents. And of course, you're going to have your notifications on for that, right? Let's hold each other accountable. Let's hit our goals that we want for 2020. And one thing, if there's one thing I could really ask for on this video, if you've made it this far and felt that this video really drives home a good message and maybe think that it's something that should be shared with other people who have this passion that we have, do me a favor, share this thing around on social medias, whether it be, your Twitter, Facebook, just share it with people in your Discord, whatever it is. Let's get this message around because I want to see as many people as we can really get on board, get motivated, and let's make a push for 2020. This is your boy Q, signing out.